Alright, what up YouTube? Welcome back to the channel. We're about to kill it again. We got the Sony ZV1 and the Zhiyun Crane M2 gimbal. We're about to dive into this Zhiyun Crane M2 gimbal and learn everything there is to know about it. So this is kind of easy, but at the same time I just want to keep it super simple for you guys. So we're going to use the GoPro as if it was our subject. We're going to turn on our gimbal and turn on our camera. We're going to double tap the trigger at any time to recenter our gimbal. And we're going to use this GoPro here as a subject. Okay, so now that we're in our modes, we have what's called pan follow mode. So that is PF on the back of your screen. So when you're panning on something, you're panning normally left to right. So you're basically turning your camera like this. So the camera is going to turn left to right. That's going to say whenever I turn my gimbal left to right, that is my pan. I'm panning on something, I'm panning left to right. I want my camera to follow the gimbal, the movement of the gimbal. So where it says PF on the back of the screen and your camera's facing forward, when I turn the gimbal this way, the camera stays facing the same way that the gimbal's facing. If I go to tilt my gimbal down like this, the camera's going to stay facing forward. Does that make sense? If I go and hit mode again, and this is lock mode. If I go up and down on it, and I turn my gimbal left to right, everything is locked. Meaning no matter which way I turn this gimbal, the camera is going to stay facing that direction. Now if I go into the next mode, which is POV mode, if I tilt the camera sideways, the gimbal is going to go sideways. If I turn the gimbal facing forward, it's going to face forward. If I turn the gimbal to the left, the camera is going to go turning to the left. For example, if I wanted to get an upward shot on this, a downward facing shot on this GoPro, I wanted to come up and face down on it and do like an overhead shot, that is the mode I want to be in, POV. Because no matter how I turn the gimbal, the camera is going to automatically go with the gimbal. I click back to pan follow mode, PF mode, which is the mode I'm most commonly in, because that's where I can get my speed ramps. I'm going to come running in on the ground, I'm going to go up on things. I come running in at a wall, I'm going to pan up on the wall, pan down on the wall, pull out. That's the mode I'm most commonly in because the only axis I want to be locked is when I'm turning left to right on my subject. So pan follow mode, when I turn my camera left, the camera is going to turn left. When I turn the camera right, it's going to turn right. If I go into the next mode, which is lock mode, and I turn the gimbal to the left, see the gimbal is moving, but the camera is staying facing in the same direction. Now if I go into the next mode, which is pan follow mode, and I turn the gimbal, the camera is going to turn whatever way the gimbal is actually turning. If I want to get an overhead shot of that GoPro right there, and I want to come in and I want the camera to tilt down like that, I want to be in POV mode. So I come in at the GoPro like that, I go up on it, I get the downward shot, pan out, come back down. It's really hard, I'm in a super small studio, but this really confused me in the beginning. And then now the next mode I can go into, so if I long press the mode button, it'll go into sleep mode. You can come here in the back of the screen, and if I press the menu button, I can go into motor, I can choose medium, high, or low, click the menu button again. Now I can go into Wi-Fi, I can go into history, I can go into joystick, I can turn the joystick into reverse if I wanted. Go into menu, go into motor. If I want to go to that menu, I just hit the joystick to the left. If I want to go into standby and I'm not using my gimbal for a second, if I press and hold the motor button for about 4 seconds, it'll go into standby mode. So your gimbals kind of can just freeform around, you can move it. If you need to change or make adjustments to settings on your camera, you can do so. If I press and hold the motor button again, camera will come out of standby mode. If I triple tap the gimbal, the trigger button, when I'm in pan follow mode, if I triple tap the trigger button, the gimbal is going to automatically turn around to selfie mode. Same with POV mode, it'll come towards me. The only mode it will not is linear. If I go back to pan follow mode, it automatically switches back to its position. I can control the way that the gimbal moves up and down by the joystick. Double click the trigger. If I'm on pan follow and I double tap the mode button, it goes to go. If I'm on go and I double tap the mode button, it goes to vertical. So now I can get those vertical shots. I can then start doing 360 rolls just by tapping the joystick to the left. And again, if I wanted to go faster, I go into my motor settings, tap over, come down to high, tap over, wait for the check mark. So I go to go, double tap it on go. I'm in vertical now. Now that I have my motors in high speed, it's gonna spin high. So when I'm in pan follow, if I wanna just go into follow mode, to where if I tilt my camera like this, the camera's not going in. Well, if I hold the trigger, it turns it into follow mode, and now I can get those overhead shots without switching modes. Double tap the mode button twice to go. Double tap it again twice to go to vertical. So I'm in pan follow, double tap mode button, turns to go, double tap mode button again, goes to vertical. When I'm in vertical, if I wanna go and get like a downward pan shot, for example, if I hold the trigger, it'll lock it into follow mode. And then when I'm in vertical, I can do some cool pans and come right back up to my pan. When I let go of my trigger, it goes right back into vertical. Let me show you guys that one. So when I'm in vertical, in V mode, if I lock my trigger, it turns it to F, and then I can do some of these cool downward pans, come back up. When I let go now, it's gonna switch back to vertical mode. Now if I wanna go back to pan follow, I just hit mode again, and I'm in pan follow, and I double click the trigger, automatically recenters your camera for you. So that's a wrap on the Zhiyun Crane M2 gimbal. And let me know if there's any other gimbals that you guys have used with the Sony ZV1 or what cameras you're using. Let me know what equipment you're using. Actually, hopefully this video helped you out. Hopefully it added a ton of value like I intended it to. If you guys could please do me a favor, hit that subscribe button. That really is what lets me know that I'm doing a good job, lets me know that I'm adding the right kind of value to you guys, lets me know that I'm putting out the right type of content that you guys actually want to see. I appreciate you guys. Thank you guys again, and I'll see you guys in the next video.